All right, why don't we open this meeting at 9:04? All right, can you take care of this, the agenda, going through the agenda for the opening parts right now?
Yes.
I'm kind of on the, kind of moving around at the moment.
This is our agenda. Any community or public input? If you'd like to speak or have any comments or questions, this would be the time.
Yeah, this is actually a good time if Alderman Dahlquist wants to talk to the group.
Yeah, no, I thank you all for having the meeting as you usually do. So I know for us, our territory is kind of expanded a bit. So I'm not sure if we cover more or have overlap more with the SSA. So we'll be going further north along Ridge. I think almost up to Farwell. And then when you get closer to Western, we're actually closer to west of Western. Our boundary is Indian Boundary Park. So I imagine there's probably more businesses that cover the area. So I think anything that's pertinent, and we'll share a 40th Ward map as we get a more recent one, now that the remap has occurred, to see kind of what other business districts we can partner. I think I guess I had one question, but I can wait until it's part of the agenda. I know there was a reconstitution of the SSA, and I got an email from Sandy about some of it, and also ran into one of the owners at Jackhammer this weekend. So there was a little bit of, I don't have enough context to actually have a side on this one, so I figured I'd just kind of throw that out there. If there's any further context, like, I'm happy to take it offline if that's a better conversation to have, but I figured I'd just mention it because it happened this past weekend.
Sandy, do you want to address the reconstitution, or would you like to kind of touch base with our conversation with that new area?
It is in the agenda. It's up to you, Sandy, if you want to address it now or wait till it's down at the when we get
it doesn't matter, whatever you guys want to do. Alderman, do you have someplace else to be? Do you need to leave early or anything? Are you going to hang for a while?
I can hang for a while, so I can wait till it's not part of the agenda. That's fine. Thank you.
But yes, thank you for introducing yourself, Alderman Vasquez. Welcome. Would it be helpful for you to do a quick round of introductions?
Sure, yeah.
Okay. All right, so let me stop share here. And I'll just call on people and have them introduce themselves. These are obviously the commissioners for SSA 24. And yes, we are in the process of reconstituting. And in that reconstitution, we are intending to expand on Clark from Albion all the way to Devon. Okay, and these are our current commissioners. If you could introduce yourself, tell us what your name is and your affiliation to the SSA, that would be great. We'll start with Al Goldberg.
Hi, my name's Al Goldberg. I'm a commissioner here on SSA 24 since its inception. I'm a property owner within the SSA with the building at Morse and Glenwood. And I'm also founder of the Glenwood Avenue Arts District and the Glenwood Avenue Arts Fest. And I'm also a director on the Rogers Park Builders Group.
Wonderful. Thank you, Al. And Roberto?
Good morning, Roberto Arista. I'm a commissioner. Been a commissioner for the last going on 3 years, I believe so. And I work for Byline Bank, Rogers Park as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Roberto. Nick Koziak. You're muted.
Hi, I'm Nick Koziak. I have been a commissioner for, I think, a little over 3 years as well. I'm a local state farm agent in Rogers Park. My office has been off of Greenleaf and Clark for a little over 5 years.
Super. Thank you, Nick. Elijah?
Good morning, Alderman. I am been a commissioner as well for over 3 years, and I'm artistic director of Lifeline Theater on Glenwood Avenue.
Beautiful. Wally?
I'm Wally Anderson. I am the general manager of Rogers Park Social and Rogers Park Provisions. Eric says hello, by the way. I'm also a resident. I'm on the, I think I've been a commissioner for like 7 years now. And what else? Oh, I'm on Art Festival Committee. I'm on the whatever this weird new Pride Committee thing is up in Rogers Park as well.
Thank you, Wally. And then last but not least, our chair, Chris Johnson.
Hi, I'm Chris Johnson. I've been a SSA member commissioner for about 10 years now. Actually, the last time we went through reconstitution. I am also a resident of the Rogers Park neighborhood, and I own a number of properties around the neighborhood too. 2 buildings, particularly on Morse here.
Awesome. So that gives you an idea of who we are. And thank you for joining us. So we're going to continue with the meeting, okay? Oops, I didn't mean to. Let me share our agenda again. What's next here? So minutes, I did send them a little late. So I don't know if you guys want to browse through them at this point or have you already, but we do need to vote to approve the April 2022 minutes, which I can share if everybody wishes. I will do that right now.
Yeah, please share. I actually read them last night, and I think they're not that complicated, so we can probably vote on them quickly. A lot of it is the reconstitution.
I move to approve.
Okay.
I
Can I
second
get a
that.
second, please? Thank you.
Thank you, Nick. All right. And next we have financials, which we have a P&L and a balance sheet. I'll pull up the balance sheet first, Sandy. Do you think? Share screen. Balance sheet. I don't know if you have any questions or comments about where we're at, but this is where we're at the moment. Do you have any comments, Sandy?
I don't have any comments, but I'm happy to answer any questions.
And feel free to ask me to switch over to the P&L whenever you're ready.
So go up to the top, Carolina, of that sheet. Keep going.
Morgan.
So I guess that the number that you want to see is, excuse me, is that $337,000 that is in the bank, basically, that hopefully will carry us through the next property tax payment, whenever that happens to be.
That was actually my question. That's our cash that we have to get us until the collection happens next spring, right, as it's looking. Okay.
And Carolina did do a spreadsheet. I think we talked about this last time, but just in case anybody wasn't there, we have a spreadsheet of what we've committed to for 2022, what we're anticipating for 2022. So things that like we don't have contracts for yet, like holiday decorations and stuff. And I think we should be fine. What's going to happen is we're going to use more money out of our bank than we're allowed to. So the allowance for carryover is what they call it. It's money out of the bank is only 25% of your budget. We're definitely going to use more than that since we're not getting any property tax revenue. So in next year's audit, you'll just see a finding that says that we used more carryover than we were supposed to. That's all that. It's just like a little ding that we get occasionally. But the city has basically said you've got no other option unless you want to borrow money, which why would you do that if you have money in the bank? So they know we're going to be doing it.
Yeah, I think it's important that you say that the city's aware. So
Yes.
The fact that we get a ding is not really a ding because the city already knows about it. Okay. Any questions? Can I move? Do you all want to see the P&L or are we comfortable with where we're at? Chris?
I'm good. We can move on.
Okay. The agenda says we move on to Identity Salon by Anna Bipp. So there's a new salon on Clark Street. It's between North Shore and Wallen on the west side of the street. This business owner is very savvy. She wants to be involved in the community. She wants to take advantage of all the programs we offer. She's been to our office a couple of times and she is applying for a BIP. I sent you all the documents and was there another set of minutes that kept getting deferred that was not approved? I think, no, we approved February. Anyway, let's see. I want to show you what this business owner is interested in doing. Share screen. And this should be the picture. So they want to do what you see here, channel lettering. Very simple, black. It'll say Identity Salon by Anna. And the second part of their project is to add some decals on their windows that will say, again, their name on one side and then, oh, there's Irene. And then a couple, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lines of information about what they offer in the business. So Sandy, I didn't realize, oh no, never mind. What I didn't send you, which I thought I did, folks, is the quote for TFA signs. We do have a quote for Hernandez awnings, which is $32.50 for the channel lettering, plus $300 for the decals. That's for the Hernandez quote. And then the TFA signs is quoting $32.65 for the channel and $500 for the decal. So a total of $44.19. And so anyway.
Basically the same, right?
Yeah, basically the same. The question is, do you all want to
does the owner have a preference? Does the owner have a preference with who she wants to use?
No, they are looking to us.
I'm misreading this maybe because I'm looking at the quote from Hernandez and it says $6,500 for the channel lettering, with half of that being COD or deposit, and the other half being due.
Oh, did I misread that? Oh, you're right. Sorry about that. So it is way more at Hernandez. So that means we would encourage them to go with TFA signs. But are you all interested in doing 50% or 2,500? We are really good in the budget right now.
Well, I just for we just got to be fair to everybody. We've always capped it at 2,500. If she wants to do Hernandez, it's 2,500. The other one would be 2,200 if we were looking at 50%. So.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So it cash wise is just a few $100s. I guess it's up to their preference. If she likes the Hernandez people and she wants to spend a little bit of extra, because it's gonna be on her because we're only paying 50%. So
okay, so
what's everybody?
What I'm hearing is, just to summarize, is that if she wants to go with Hernandez, the commission would grant her a reimbursement of 2,500. If she wants to go to TFA, it would be 50% of the cost.
Correct.
Exactly. Yep.
Okay. And so, and everybody's okay with the content of the project.
Yeah, as long as she keeps those storefront windows clean. Yeah.
Okay. All right, then this would be the time when you either can ask questions, more questions.
I had a question. Were the decals really very visible? I don't know. I couldn't really tell from the pictures that were on the screen here.
Let's look again.
Is there any way to change the way so we can see it head on right now?
Oh, yeah. Yes, there is a way. Oops, wrong way. Ah, sorry, guys. This is not as easy as I thought.
Do 180. Do one. Ow.
I think it's just the quality of the photo.
Yeah.
But I know you're right. It is a little small. What does everybody think? Should I ask her to make the letters bigger?
I mean, I'm blowing it up on my phone and it doesn't look bad. I mean, it looks, she's got her name on one side, a kind of handful of services, about 5 or 6, and then just her hours on the middle door. It looks pretty neat and clean. I mean,
it's also supposed to be only 25% of the panel. So.
And it's way less than that.
Yeah.
All
okay.
Right.
All right. So I'm going to need a motion.
I move to do the either 50% or 2,500, depending on which group she goes with. Up to 2,500, no more than 50%.
Yep.
Second.
Second. Thank you.
Was that Nick?
Oh,
that was Alicia.
Oh, Alicia. I'm sorry. Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
For a vote?
Yeah, all in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Also welcome Morgan and welcome Irene to the meeting. I see you've joined us. So what's next here? Okay, so where you have the budget, I sent you a very rough draft, guys. I do want to thank everybody. I did send an email asking for people to share their ideas about what they'd like to see in the budget. And this is what we came up with as a draft, which I'm pulling up right now. Show all windows. Here we go. Okay. So Sandy, maybe jump in here whenever you can. And I do want to say that when we created this budget, we were thinking about having had the SSA reconstitute for another 10, 15 years with the expansion in mind from Albion to Devon. We are also thinking about, correct me if I'm wrong, Sandy, but we were thinking of, when we drafted this, we were thinking about the tax collection issue and how that may affect funds in 2023, which means we budgeted a little lower than we wanted to, or than before. So what I want to do is really quickly let you know that we are not thinking about any new big projects. The only thing that is going to be different, I think, that you should know about is that since we're expanding, we are going to inherit a new landscaping contract with all of the new structures, medians, and landscaping that is going to be installed at the Arthur Plaza over by Clark and Devon. So what I did, So what I did was I bumped up our landscaping to $60,000. Let me just go in order here. Everything's pretty much the same in where are we, customer attraction. We lowered some stuff. And then I'm going to move back to public way aesthetics here. In public way aesthetics, like I said, we bumped up landscaping, and that's pretty much the only thing that's big that's changing. Nothing in sustainability, nothing in economic development is different. Everything's pretty much the same, and 6 point in the administrative standpoint, as well as personnel. Oops. Or is there anything you want to say about personnel, Sandy?
Do we have any ongoing expenses with maintaining the alfresco area?
So the only thing we are going to be spending for maintenance is the landscaping. And we don't foresee that being a huge expense.
Possibly special events. So nothing that's outside of any of our regular categories. So landscaping is the barrels that are out there. I don't know if you've been out there, Al. So it's not that much. And then the special events, if we decide to do any events on the street.
Does that area plan on having some more attractive signage installed other than the barricades and the banner?
We're actually talking about that at noon today, so I'll let you know.
Okay. Hopefully.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So just so you know what the process is from this point forward is, today, we're not voting on the budget. Voting will happen after the city takes a first look at this draft. They send it back to us for us to have you vote and have a final vote in the second week of July. So I'm going to schedule a meeting on the second week of July. And it's going to be like every year, it's going to be very last minute. All we know is it's the second week of July. And then we will have a special meeting just to vote on the budget and the work plan, as well as the sole service provider, as we always do. But the reason we are doing this right now is if you have any burning desires or anything you'd really, really like to take away or add, considering all the factors I mentioned. Otherwise, if you're okay with what I have presented, we can move forward.
I haven't really had a chance to review it. I'm not able to read what's on the screen here, but can I then get back to you?
You absolutely can. You have until Friday when I'm supposed to submit this.
Okay.
Okay. Awesome. All right. So that takes us to my SSA manager's report, which begins with the reconstitution updates, which Sandy is going to do for us today.
Good morning, everyone. So most of you are on the advisory committee for the SSA reconstitution. And so you're aware that we agreed on a tax cap that will be the tax cap for the next 15 years, which we increased it just a little bit. Not that we're increasing the tax rate moving forward, but the tax cap, so that if we have any desire over the next 15 years, we're able to raise the tax rate. We've been collecting signatures for support from property owners within the SSA. And we ran into a little bit of a snag. So Alderman, if you're still there, we had a meeting with, there you are. We had a meeting with Mike Sullivan and Mark Robertson, who own the Jackhammer Leather 6410 building over near Devon and Clark. So if you've been around for a while, which most of you have, Eric Klugelman and Michael, what's Michael's last name, Carolina? His partner, Michael something. They have been real involved in the Vision Clark Street Master Plan. They've served on a bunch of our committees. They volunteered on a bunch of our committees for that program, and have always complained that that area is not part of the SSA. And when we do things, we end at Albion. The reason that we've ended at Albion going south is always because that's the 40th, 49th ward boundary. So 10 years ago when we reconstituted, the district moved from Wallen to Albion, and we extended the SSA just that little bit from Wallen to Albion because that's where the 49th ward was, and Alderman Moore asked us to do that. But Eric and Jorge and Michael, all the guys who work at Leather 6410, and David from Touche, have been very vocal that they would like us to move the SSA all the way to Devon. So you can only do that during a reconstitution. We're reconstituting. We told them that we would do it. One of our good faith initiatives was to, when we put the street pole banners up this last time, we put them all the way to Devon. So it kind of did look kind of silly, you know, ending at Albion and not having street pole banners that far south. And so we did put them all the way to Devon, which is technically outside of the SSA. I made an assumption that when Eric and Michael requested this expansion of the SSA, that they had talked to their landlords, and I guess they hadn't. So Mike Sullivan and Mark Robertson are the owners. They are opposed to the expansion. And the reason they're opposed is because Clark Devon Hardware is not being included. They have not opposed because of the cost, because, you know, their opposition is that Ken doesn't have to be included, and they do. So in order to move forward, what I explained to them is our constituency is the business owners, and the business owners really want this. And it would be great if they could talk to their tenants and, you know, but it's not about cost to them. So it's not like they even want to increase the rents and pay the, you know, the difference. their biggest concern, or not concern, their issue is that Ken gets to opt out and they don't. And so that's what happened. So we had a meeting, me, Chris was there, Karen Forte from the City of Chicago Department of Planning and Development was there, and Scott Goldstein, who is our consultant for the reconstitution from Tesco, was there. And we had a meeting. It got a little bit heated with them, and they were real frustrated with us, and they said they were going to take their issue up with the city, and I don't know what's happened since then.
I kind of want to I kind of want to add on to the storyline too. So as none of you commissioners probably remember, we actually did a grant for that entrance at Devon and Clark there. Back, it was pre-election, different aldermen. It was a kind of a big thing that we had to coordinate. It took us 2 years. The CDOT was also getting involved. We had 2 aldermen's offices. The city was involved, and we kind of put this big package together. Part of that, to get everybody to agree on it, was for the SSA 24 was going to be responsible for the planters and the upkeep of this area. Now, if this is not our district, yet they're still going through with all this construction and improvement, are we still responsible for it? So this is kind of where my issue comes in. If we're gonna be putting the money in and we're gonna be the ones upkeeping this area, and we have business owners that want us in this district to kind of make these improvements, this is kind of where I think we should, this is where I had an issue with, was it Mike and Robert? And they're not recognized, Mike and Mark, sorry, that it's not really about the hardware store. It's about what we're doing and all the effort we put into this little pocket in the last 6 years. That's not part of our district, and was kind of a good faith thing because we feel like it is Rogers Park. It's the entrance to Rogers Park. So I also think they kind of had a story in their head of the situation that was not true. It was not true that we gave favoritism to Clark and Devon hardware store. That was anything but. It was actually very contentious with him, this whole process, going through everything. He's actually kind of been a little bit of a roadblock for us when trying to get stuff done. So not all of his property is being excluded either. Part of his property is included. That part, that's what, a former Arby's, Wendy's, I can't remember what that thing was.
Wendy's.
Yeah, that he owns across the street there. That's part of the district. Obviously, the CDOT, the bus station, and the police station, since it's municipality, it can't be taxed. So they also think we were excluding that. So it was kind of a weird walking into a meeting where they already kind of had their story and theory built up. We were trying to correct them, and they didn't like it, the story we were giving them. That's how it got contentious. Did I miss anything there? Or?
Thank you, Chris.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Alderman. You have another part of the story, I'm sure.
Yep, we got a whole bunch of context out here. So I was at an event this weekend where there's a street naming for Edna Grown right in front of letter 6410. So we kind of are there. And Mike Sullivan is the one who approached me. And I'll say the conversation I had, hearing the context on the conversation you all had was different. It wasn't contentious when he came to talk to me about any of it. And it really was the big concern that Devon Clark was being excluded from the SSA more than anything else. Like, he didn't bring up the fact that they were a part of it or they weren't fans of it or any of it. They were just like, they viewed it as the owner of Devon Hardware kind of being able to pick and choose what he wants to do when he's got the whole public parking that he kind of avails himself of, as well as other kind of amenities. So I think there's just whether it's valid or not, some level of resentment there to the owner over at Devon Clark. So I guess the only thing I was curious about is, and I don't know the process, so please forgive me for that, why Ken was able to opt out, since that's also the entrance of Rogers Park.
So we've, so first of all, Ken has agreed verbally, not in writing in any way, to support any additional efforts that we have. So he purchased street pole banners. When we decided to do the street pole banners, you know, he will contribute to certain initiatives that we have. He just didn't want to be required to pay the additional property tax. And we don't really need him in the SSA. So he does his own landscaping. He does his own snow removal. He has agreed to take care of any additional landscaping or any whatever aesthetics go in after the streetscape is done. On the other side of the street, we want it has to be contiguous. So an SSA has to be contiguous. We can't just say one property is not going to be included. So Ken is fortunate enough to be in this little corner. And if we don't include him, we can still do the SSA. So the plan is to go all the way up to Arthur on the east side of the street. And Arthur is going to be closed, right? And we need to be, in order for us to sign a maintenance agreement with the city to continue to maintain the planters and everything that are going into the Arthur Plaza, it has to be a part of the SSA. And then on the other side of the street, we continue to Devon because the business owners asked us to. So it wasn't like we went to Ken and said, do you want in or not? You know, that wasn't really it. And one of the things that I told Mike and Mark, and they got really upset with me, was that when I told them that our constituency are the business owners, and those are the people that we talk to, and Ken is a business owner, and we've been talking to business owners, and they got upset. Well, you haven't talked to us. And I'm like, well, we're sending you all these emails, but your business isn't open, so we haven't walked in to talk to you. When we go on the street, they're not there. And that's when Mark got just really upset about they've been closed because of COVID and all that kind of stuff. But we did not call them directly. We've emailed them and we went and visited businesses, and Ken said he didn't want to be involved, but the other business owners did.
I think what might be helpful, and I don't know that I'll get a subsequent conversation with them or they'll reach out. They might, you know, that might have been their chance to kind of blow up the steam that they did have. But I guess what might be helpful is, to your point, that Ken already kind of contributes to the area. Because I think they kept mentioning like, oh, it's an extra $5,000 a year. And they're like, it's not that more than the principle of it, that maybe should that become more pushback to articulate, well, actually there is this level of investment coming from the hardware that it's not taxed out of the SSA, but they do it willingly on their own as a partner. I think might help address some of that. But
I did tell them that. I don't know that they heard it at that point.
Yeah, well, by the time it reached me, and I don't know if it was because of the event or anything, he kind of just was like very casual about the conversation. I didn't feel any of the heat that clearly you all did in that conversation. So my guess is that's it. But
yeah, in our just to put a pin in it, in our experience, what we've done in the past is we move forward with what the business owners are looking to do, and them as property owners, they don't really have a valid point. Their point is just Ken got to opt out and we should too, is their point. And that's not a reason for us to make any changes to moving forward. Yeah, so we're moving forward with it the way it is.
Okay, that's fine. I just want to kind of get the full context of what was going on. And like, I am sorry for whatever it's worth, even though it's not on me, that the conversation was what it was. But if they reach out to me any further, I'll be happy to let you know. And if there's anything I can be helpful, let me know.
Well, I also find, Robert, I think, also sits on 2 other SSAs, which I kind of find it funny. He's rejecting this one, though. So, yeah.
Well, like I said, that's the part that was interesting to me. At no point in any of the conversation did Mike, who I spoke to, not Mark, did he iterate any frustration at being part of the SSA more than the fact that someone else was opting out? So he may have said that in with you all, but he didn't articulate that with me as far as the crux of the concern.
He just, his only comment was that he thinks that large SSAs are ineffective. And one of the SSAs he serves on is Uptown, which I think is the biggest SSA in the city. It's huge. And so he may have had issues with that SSA, and I'll
say from my experience, with Lincoln Bend not having a TIF there and trying to figure out how to do any level of maintenance or any kind of support, we're trying to get SSA instituted there because of our challenges. So I don't know that people appreciate what it's like not to have one when there are no other funding sources. So, yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, and if
go ahead, Chris.
Oh, I was going to say, and if you want to have a follow-up conversation offline, you know, a little bit more in depth, what our plans are for this area, so it can be related to the business owners. If they do call, I mean, me and Sandy and Carolina would be more than happy to jump on with you.
Yeah, absolutely. I think once we get I got to get the maps all sorted out in my head now that we've got the remap to figure out what the overlap is going to be, and then we can better identify how like our office can support the businesses as well that are now going to be part of
So I think that we're losing the 40th ward on the east side of Clark, right? Yep. So Clark Devon will be in the 49th ward, but we're keeping the 40th ward on the west side. So so Mike and Mark will still be are still in the 40th ward.
That's right.
Right. But the east side is going to be 49. So that's going to be the change for us.
Going further north, it all just stays east of Clark on all of it.
East of Clark is the 49th ward, and no, the SSA is all of Clark Street, both sides of the street. Okay. The only thing that's going to be excluded is Clark Devon Hardware, all the way from Devon to Birchwood. SSA goes all the way from Devon to Birchwood.
You just have a map up here, which is why I just looked for nothing. I know we're going. Does it go further west than that? Because we go further ridge, like Cermak Grocery or any of that. No, okay, that's all like West Ridge more than West Robert Park.
Now the SSA, the Clark Morse Glenwood goes east. So it goes east up Morse. It's all in the 49th ward. Everything else is in the 49th ward.
Perfect for my clarity. Thank you for that. Cool.
Yes, Al, you have a question. Go ahead.
My question was, you mentioned this kind of seemed a conflict between listening to the property owners or the business owners. And the reconstitution process requires signatures of the property owners, and they're the ones who pay the taxes all along to support the SSA. And so I know the RPBA primarily responds to the business owners. So I'm just wondering, since the property owners are required to support and vote for the SSA, what is the SSA's ongoing outreach and support for the property owners within the SSA?
So, Al, I guess just to clarify my comment, we talked to the business owners before we decided on the expansion. And then now that we're in the process of reconstituting, we're including the property owners, obviously. So we've had 2 community meetings where all the property owners, we send out postcards to every taxpayer of record. There are some property owners that we still don't know even who they are. You know, when you get like the PIN lists, you don't know, sometimes they're not very clear as to who the actual owner is, but we try to reach out to as many as we can. We've been sending emails. We have a property owner list in our database. So we've been sending emails to those property owners, which does include Mike and Mark. And then we're required by the city to send postcards to all the property owners. And then they'll get a letter before the hearing, letting them know that we're holding this hearing and anybody can attend.
All right, just wasn't weren't they supposed to do the research and get the actual names of the trusts, people who are the...
No, they don't get the names. They just get the PIN lists for us.
I thought that's why we were paying them the big bucks.
No, we pay them to do all the community meetings, to do all
the city can give you a click.
They do the They do all the logistics, Al. They do the community meetings. They do all the, they're the ones who created the Reconstitution website, all the documentation, the plan, all that kind of stuff is Tesca.
Was there any other updates, Sandy, for Reconstitution?
We have 23% of pins signed already. So we need 10% by June 10th and 20% by August something. And I think we're at 23% right now.
Which is great news. So if we wanted to, we wouldn't need to get any more signatures, but
we're going to keep talking to people.
We are. Al, did you want to say anything else? Your hand's still up.
This is Chicago, so somebody may challenge the signatures.
Absolutely, yes.
And Al, we haven't sent it to you. So let me know if you're willing to sign a letter.
You haven't sent it to me. I'm on the property owner list.
I know, but I haven't sent you a letter of support since you voted against the cap increase.
Well, I'm still against the tax cap increase.
All right, I'll send you a letter.
All right, why don't we move on? Anybody's got any more questions about it?
Crosswalks at London Ravenswood are being installed this week, Sandy? Ish.
We're still waiting for that final thumbs up from CDOT.
So that's good. As you all know, we have a grant. We have a couple of grants that are helping us with this project, and those required that the project be completed by June, which is why we're hurrying up and why it's happening soon. As soon as we have photos or any sort of documentation of the project, I will share with you all. Glenwood al fresco. Since last time we met, a lot has happened. I don't know who here has been able to check it out, but it looks amazing. There is a ribbon cutting for the project on Saturday, June 18th at 11 a.m. where all of the people who have had any contribution to this project will be present, including the mayor. Am I correct? Yes. Okay. It would be amazing if all of you or some of you could be present. So please save the date, June 18th at 11 a.m. I would love to have you there. And yeah, I think everything's going well with the project so far. I think everything's complete except for some lighting. And that's it. Any comments, questions? All right. And Glenwood Sunday Market is opening this weekend. Yay. And it's going to be happening on Glenwood between Morse and Lunt, as always, or as it used to always be. It's coming back to Glenwood. So that's going to be exciting. It would be awesome if one of you could also be there for the opening ceremony. It's this Sunday, June 5th at 8:45 a.m. We'd love to have you be a part of the ribbon cutting.
8:45 does not exist in my timeline on Sunday.
Okay, duly noted.
I mean, I'll be around because I pick up fruit from the market there every week for our bar.
Oh, great, Wally. Okay, good to know. I'll be there too, so I'll see you there. And then the only RPBA update I have is that we have our Best of Rogers Park Award ceremony on Thursday, June 22nd. It will be at Loyola University's McCormick Lounge. And I believe I forgot to put it here that it's at 5 p.m. Sandy? Yes, okay. I don't have any old business.
I'm sorry, 5:30.
5:30, okay. I don't have any old business, but I did fail to mention in my agenda that the Clark Ridge TIF is making a SPIF available during the month of June, which means that the property owners and business owners have an opportunity to apply for a SPIF, which is a small business improvement fund reimbursement up to 95% of the costs of any improvements to their business infrastructure. And so that includes businesses on Clark Street between Devon and Pratt, businesses and property owners. So if anybody knows anyone who is a business owner or property owner who may be interested in applying for a SPIF, just let me know and I'll reach out to them and let them know that we are here to support them through the application process. I will be going out to pass out information to all of those businesses and property owners this week to let them know about the fact that this is open. But, you know, it'd be nice to know if anybody know, I don't know if you, Roberto, know any property owners or business owners who may be interested. So that's that. Anything else, guys?
And Carolina, the Best of Rogers Park is a Wednesday, not Thursday. June 22nd
oh,
is Wednesday.
It? Oopsie. Okay. Sorry about that. Thank you. Look what I can do. I think that's all I have, Chris. Does anyone have any new business or old business?
Yeah, I do.
Who's that?
I have, there's a situation that's, I have on Morse Avenue, got a notice of a request for a zoning variation change. It turns out that it's kind of complicated, but Antonio from south of the border is going in with a hair salon operator to open a salon on Morse Avenue. I think it's 1424. And so I got the notice, and my tenant, who's the Finally Hair Salon, got the notice that they need this zoning variation because the new salon is within 1,000 feet of another salon. And also the barber shop on Glenwood near Farwell is within that area. Well, it turns out that, you know, the person who's going to be running the salon is the person who sold the Finally Hair Salon to my tenant. And he, you know, so my tenant is really upset because he's not, but he's going in with Antonio to open this new salon, and she's really upset. And it's hard enough with COVID, you know, getting people back into the hair salons. And having another competition, especially from the person who sold her the business, I don't think it's right for that to get approved. You know, I mean, the guy never puts anything in his own name. He never operates anything himself because he can't for various reasons. He's always using some kind of an assumed name. So anyway, I'm just bringing that up, that I'm doing what I can to object to that. And I would request that the SSA and the RPBA also voice opposition to that zoning change because it interferes with one of our existing businesses.
I don't think the RPBA or the SSA can do really anything about that. Maybe talking to the Alderwoman's office would be the best way for it to go.
Well,
yeah.
That's the point, Wally. The alderman the alderwoman makes it, so she waves her finger in the or nay, and that's pretty much her decision-making process.
Well, have you talked to her
So
about
that's
this,
what
Al,
I'm
or are you
asking.
just going to sit around and object to it without talking to her?
I've written her a letter and I've spoken to her personally, and you know, so has the tenant.
Cool, then that's the most we can do.
You're breaking up, Wally. You're on mute.
There's just nothing else that we can do as the
Anyway,
SSA.
Wally, you keep coming in and out, so I can't hear what you're saying.
Yes, there's nothing else the SSA can do about this. So we can talk about it all we want, but it seems at this point, it is what it's going to be. So work whatever magic you can, maybe with Maria's office.
I think the part of the zoning process, Al, includes a hearing. Am I correct? So anyone who's opposed would be able to attend that hearing.
That's correct.
So
But
I think that's the only thing.
Point is, right. Well, everybody says it.
I think it's you who's cutting off, Al.
You know.
All right. If you have time, would like to speak to the Alderman's office, or please join the meeting for more information. Other than that, is there anything else?
Looks like every.
Getting to 10 o'clock here, so.
Okay. All right. Thank you, everybody.
Move to close the meeting.
10:01.
Please.
Wally, who was the second?
Second.
Nick. Okay.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a good weekend or week. Sorry.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you, Alderman, for joining.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.